Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, February 7th, 2025. Super Bowl 59 is here, and we will be live for the entire Super Bowl, starting at 6:30 and going until we hear about the Super Bowl MVP, which we'll talk about on the live stream as well. That's going to be super fun. Me, Nathan, Colin, Mike in here watching the big game. Yeah, super excited for that. We're obviously going to have a little second short parlay going. All four of us will have a leg in that if you guys want to ride that. We've got obviously some games we're going to play during halftime. I think we're just going to have to skip out on a reaction to the Kendrick halftime show, unfortunately. Like, we're going to watch it, but I would feel bad for the viewers if we had to mute it, like mute the live stream, or if we we stop the live stream and come back after. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we will, me and Luke will talk about our reactions to the Super Bowl halftime show on the Friday episode, the following that Friday before we go on our break. That's what I'm thinking. So we will be playing some games during halftime. So if you're, I don't know, maybe not a Kendrick Lamar fan, or you just you need something going on in the background, we will be playing some games, probably doing some sporkles and whatnot for halftime. So I think it's going to be a blast. So please make sure you come in YouTube live stream 6:30 on Sunday for the Super Bowl. We've also got a few more moves have happened in the MLB, kind of trickling in throughout the weeks as we approach the start of spring training. And I think under 2 weeks, just about everybody within the next 2 weeks will have pitchers and catchers report to spring training. So very exciting stuff there. Champions League knockout phase has been set. That draw was done last week. Definitely some interesting matchups to look forward to. Maybe some that might not be as fun, but we'll talk about them. And then we got the January transfer window, which has closed and came to a very exciting end. I really thought we got most of what we were going to get last week when we recapped the transfer window, but we've got a whole new run of moves, a lot of kind of midnight hour loan moves that I think are big that we'll be talking about. So, Luke, how you doing? It's kind of it's a busy week. It's Super Bowl week. Kind of a bittersweet week for us.
Yeah, I like how the media is just grilling the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like, what ref is your favorite?
Yeah.
Just
No.
shit like that.
What's
It's so
funny is like everybody's approach to the kind of like NFL players and coaches with the refs. The relationship has always just been like, try not to talk about it. Like, obviously, if something big happens, you can say something, but try not to talk about it. And the media would attack guys for attacking the refs. But now the media is kind of playing the opposite side. It's weird. We can talk about it more once we get to the game, but yeah, the media has been super weird with the Chiefs, that's for sure, which we'll talk about. But how are we feeling with baseball coming back soon?
Oh man, it feels great. Like I know that you and I were talking about it off camera like a couple days ago. It's starting to feel like baseball weather.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it feels like I should be
it's
able
about
to
to go
watch baseball
away,
games already.
unfortunately. Gonna have like
Yeah,
highs
next
in the
week's gonna be brutal.
50s on like Sunday or Monday,
Yeah.
so that's gonna be great. I'm already so ready for baseball now because like I we got a little bit of a taste of like college baseball getting started. Shout out the high school baseball seasons that are getting started as well, all around Georgia. Shout out to Etowah. My boys at Etowah are amazing. They played a scrimmage against Marist last week or yesterday. Unreal. Shout out the young fellas representing Etowah. Um, but yeah, it definitely feels like baseball weather. That is for sure. But that will be soon gone and then come back and then probably leave again and then it'll come back for good, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So reminders, make sure you're here for the Super Bowl live stream. Easiest way to make sure you know when it is, where it is, how it is, what it is going to be on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Make sure you turn on post notifications while you're at it. Like this video and comment as well. Comment your Super Bowl prediction. And while you're here, make sure you go and check out the Premier League Team of the Month if you haven't seen it already. We had it came out on the YouTube TikTok and Instagram. So you guys are welcome to go check that out. Did pretty well. Me and Luke have our concerns. We're still trying to figure things out with that video format and how we want to do it as time goes, but still happy with the product that we're making there. Just got to fine tune some things with it. But pretty excited to continue doing that kind of stuff. And then, of course, just make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, joining the Second Short subreddit, r/2nd A&D short. And, of course, on the podcast platforms, rate 5 stars and give us a follow. Luke, you ready to talk about the Super Bowl? Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, let's talk Super Bowl.
I'm very, very excited. But it is like I said earlier, it's bittersweet. It's kind of like, yeah, it's nice that the Super Bowl's here because it's kind of the culmination of everything we've been talking about for, months now. But also, like, it's gone. It's over. Once the Super Bowl MVP is crowned, who cares? Like, it's over. No, this season is like a distant memory at that point. I'm already forgetting like how teams played in the regular season.
Yeah, same.
It's crazy. And like the fact that like right now I'm already so ready to get into like draft. I'm antsy. Like I really want to start talking about draft stuff because I'm just incredibly invested in what this draft class has to offer. Obviously, we're not going to get into that yet, but it is kind of it's a weird way for this season to end, I guess. It feels like it's been too long since there was a game, honestly. Like 2 weeks ago there was games, but like I don't know, it doesn't feel right. We've been without a real NFL Sunday for like over a month now.
I know it feels like I'm already halfway back into my like no football cave. I just I'm so checked out, especially like this was the first year that I really didn't even like pay attention to the Pro Bowl at all. Like usually I would always go onto YouTube and like watch the dodgeball and shit like that. But this year just didn't see any highlights. I don't know what happened. I don't even know what they did.
Yeah, no, me neither.
To be honest, I don't care. So.
Yeah, I made sure that on Monday's episode I did not say the words Pro Bowl. That was my goal, and I didn't. And guess what? I didn't watch a second of it over the weekend. I instead elected to watch the Senior Bowl. That's probably why I'm so like hyped up for draft talk stuff. But I'm so glad the Pro Bowl it just doesn't exist in my eyes.
Yeah.
Unless it was a real competitive game, I don't care. But let's talk about the game here. The game on Sunday, the big game. Down in New Orleans at the Caesars Superdome, I think. Caesars Sportsbook Superdome. I don't even know what they call it anymore. Chiefs 1-point favorites. Eagles technically the home team as it switches every single year. So I will add this. The Eagles got to train at all of the Saints facilities this week. The Chiefs got to train at all the Tulane facilities this week. Maybe that throws a wrinkle in there, but also that's just something, last year the Chiefs got to train at the NFL stadium, and I think, was last year Arizona, or was that? No, last year was Vegas.
Vegas.
The year before that was Arizona, I think, and I think the year before that was Los Angeles.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Chiefs, they've been here before, and so have the Eagles. Obviously, 2 years ago, this was the matchup that started this potential three-peat. What were you gonna say?
I just can't wait until we're at Wembley in like 5 years for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, we just did you see the news that the NFL is gonna be playing games in Australia?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a lot of traveling for whatever sorry shits get
people
to play in
already
Australia,
hate
it. But yeah,
like, it's bad enough.
It's cool, though.
It's bad enough to fly to London, come back, and play more. Like that sucks enough. Why are we making them go across the world? Like literally the other side of the world.
I love seeing the players that wear the flags on the helmet. Like you see some Brazil and German flags on the NFL helmets. I think that's kind of cool, but that's very cool, but minute to all of the concerns that it throws in.
I mean,
to, their lives. So.
It's absolutely insane that in the same week, I saw like real rumors with legs that they want to expand this to an 18-game season. And that they're going to make them go play in Australia. Like, the NFLPA obviously has quickly been like, hey, we're not playing 18 games. That is not happening.
Yeah.
17 is already enough. But
and it's like, give us 2 bye weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, but then but at the same time, why the hell would we want 2 bye weeks?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We're not going to 18 games. I hope we don't. And if we are, there's going to be teams that end up playing like a London game, a Mexico game. Like the Jaguars are going to be playing everywhere but America at some point.
Yeah.
They're just going to be the official home team of international NFL games at some point. And they will no longer be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They'll just be the Jaguars.
The Omni Jaguars.
Yeah. the international Jaguars. I think that's insane. But yeah, Chiefs, Eagles, let's talk about what's going to happen on the field. Obviously, that's kind of like, at this point, that's like the third most important thing about the Super Bowl, is what's actually going to happen in this game and on the field. But like, I really do think it's crazy. I think that this is the first Super Bowl in a while where I look at the matchups and I think, wow, this is like perfect. Like, these two teams match up against each other so well.
Yeah, and speaking of matchups, I spoke about it when the Eagles played the Rams. A matchup that I'm going to be waiting on is Eagles offensive line, Chiefs defensive line. I can't wait to see how that plays out, and that's going to be one of the make or break matchups of the entire game. Is that Eagles offensive line going to be able to, 1, stop the pass rush, and 2, get Saquon Barkley going? Because this could get real out of hand if for some reason Saquon's just not getting some yardage. Because, let's be honest, Jalen Hurts in 2024-2025 football season, I don't think is going to be able to get in a throwing match versus Patrick Mahomes and win.
No. And it's not like Patrick Mahomes has had some like phenomenal year passing the ball, but we all know how it is. We know what Patrick Mahomes is more than capable of doing and has done for years and years. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, they're just not gonna win a game that way. They need to come out. Hopefully you get the ball first and you score first and you can just try and ride that momentum. Because look, if Saquon Barkley gets like 150 and 2 touchdowns, you might win this game. Yeah. But also, there's definitely a world where you get two touchdowns out of Saquon, and that's it. That's your 14 points, and the Chiefs win like 24-14, and there it is. Yeah. Like that, it's weird because Saquon's play is so independent of everything else. He's inevitable. What he does is obviously going to help contribute to winning a game, but they got to do other things. They got to get turnovers somehow. I don't know how you do it. You got to force a turnover out of the Chiefs, which is like an impossible thing to do in the playoffs. Yep. You have to force turnovers out of them, and you have to somehow stop them from just being this model of consistency. And that is essentially an impossible task. There's a reason they haven't lost a playoff game in their last 9. They're about potentially to win their 10th straight playoff game, which would tie the record. Like, they're going for the first Super Bowl three-peat. It's unbelievable what the Chiefs have done. So you really just can't discount it at all when you're talking about the Eagles.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I like that you brought up the whole point of a turnover too, because if you have Saquon, going for like a 152 touchdown game, and you get a turnover, it's regardless of who you are, it's going to be an uphill battle. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's seriously going to get hard if that's the case. But then again, the flip side of it, if Saquon is getting shut down, there's no way the Eagles win the game.
No,
period.
Not at all. It's just when has Saquon gotten shut down?
Exactly. Yeah, but it would be the perfect time. Black Magic Chiefs. It just. I really, to be honest with you, Grayson, I have no idea what to expect from this game. I know I want to happen.
I do too, and I think we have differing opinions on what we want to happen necessarily. But
yeah, I think another thing too, if I can jump in
Yeah.
again, I want to see the Eagles wide receivers play like how they're supposed to play. I feel like
I
we
think that
haven't
comes down
seen
to Hurts, though, and the
that.
situation they find themselves in, because you just haven't really seen the Eagles playing from behind in a position where they have to throw the ball. And if you don't have to throw the ball, what is telling you that Jalen Hurts throwing to these receivers is going to be more successful than handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley?
That's a really good point. But if I'm the Eagles, if I'm thinking of my offensive game plan going into this game, yes, Saquon is obviously the offense, right, Gray? But
Yeah.
I would like to see them try to fit in some, deep shots to AJ Brown and Devonta Smith just to try to create those kind of splash plays that the Chiefs are probably going to have.
Yeah.
It's just they have to balance somehow, being willing to lose a down on a deep pass, then you could just give it to Saquon and probably expect like 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah.
And then, if you're throwing the deep ball a little bit too much, you could probably end up losing the game and then you shot yourself in the foot
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, I
So
think
I don't know.
the thing I'm missing from the Eagles is utilizing Devontae Smith how he works in an offense. I swear, I never really see them utilizing him at his full capabilities. I think the best football we see from Devontae Smith is when you can get him in action early in a play. Before the defense has time to kind of disperse and figure out what's going on, if you put the ball in Devontae Smith's hands, which is why he won the Heisman in college, if you put the ball in his hands within the first, within 3, maybe -3 yards of the line of scrimmage, he can make things happen. So let him. You have big physical wide receivers and tight ends that can block for him. So why not try and run more screen plays, more quick passes over the middle to Devontae Smith and let him utilize his run after the catch ability? Because I don't know what it is about this Eagles offense that just doesn't allow for that, but it doesn't make sense to not utilize it.
That's such a good point you just made, and you probably have athletic enough guards and tackles to be able to get out there with him too,
Definitely.
aside from tight ends and wide receivers. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And then a screenplay is kind of like a run play, anyways. You're already
Yeah.
pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So
That just comes down to
I
Hurts.
completely
Can
agree.
Hurts put it where he needs to? Can Hurts, move quickly enough to get it done? And I think he can. I mean, there's not a lot of NFL quarterbacks that can't pull off a screen pass.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
But yeah, I think for the Eagles to be successful, it's obvious. You get a lead. Get a lead, and I'm more than willing to say that if the Eagles can get a lead, they can hold it and they can win. It's just what happens if you go into the fourth quarter and you're up 7 points and you're the Eagles and you just keep wanting to run the ball. All of a sudden, offensive linemen are pretty banged up at this point. Saquon's probably got 25 carries at this point. Well, then you're just running yourself out of time and you give up the ball in, whatever field position. And here we go again. Let's rewrite the story, the 10,000th time. Patrick Mahomes gets the
Yeah.
ball late in the fourth quarter down by a touchdown and wins the fucking game. That's what's going to happen if you're the Eagles. So you have to find inventive ways to not fatigue this team. Because I've seen them slow down pretty bad in the fourth quarter before. Now, they haven't, against the Commanders, they didn't. But, I've seen this team get pretty slowed down in the fourth quarter before this season. And you can't let it happen. You simply can't, because obviously this is the Super Bowl, but also because you have an offense that's capable of, at any point, can at least just scratch and claw to get a couple points. I could see the Chiefs settling for 3 a couple times in this game and still getting the win.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all.
That's a good point. Something else I wanted to bring up, and I'm kind of surprised you and I haven't mentioned this yet, is we haven't talked about the time we saw Patrick Mahomes lose in the Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
the blueprint to that game is you had a really consistent quarterback in Tom Brady with a really consistent offense, that he was a part of with Tampa. But that pass rush was the entire reason that the Chiefs lost that game.
Mhm.
Mahomes was running all over the place. And I don't know if the Eagles really have that kind of ability to just chase the quarterback the whole game. To be honest, I'm not really too sure what their pass rush is going to look like in this Super Bowl. But that's another thing that you could kind of go in thinking about is if we make Patrick Mahomes run around a lot how much is that going to decrease the black magic that he can pull off, especially late into
Or
games?
does that just increase it? How many times
That's
does Patrick
yeah,
Mahomes get rushed out of the pocket and pull out something we've never even seen before?
That's a
It
good
just
point.
raises that question. I just think, to me, in this matchup, yes, Saquon's going to be successful on the ground, and that's almost independent of how this game goes at all. But the Chiefs' offense knows how to utilize every single piece out there. And I think what we've seen is that the Eagles just have struggled to figure out what to do with these extremely skilled wide receivers. At times where I can't have full faith when they're going up against a team that just knows how to get it done. The Chiefs know how to get it
Yeah.
done. They've just gotten it done all season. This team still hasn't scored more than 30 points, but they get it done. And that's how I see this game. They know what to do. They obviously, everybody essentially on this roster has been here before, if not twice, if not 3 times. Or 4, actually. Some of their 4th Super Bowls. So it's just like,
Yeah.
to me, it's really just a matter of, what do they have? What do they got that they can bring to the table? And I think when you compare the two teams, the Chiefs bring every single thing you're looking for in a team that's going to win this game.
Yeah. I think it kind of simple, but I wanted to throw it out there. I think if you're the Eagles, anytime you get the chance to tush push, just do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm
We're
so
not taking
done.
any chances.
So done with the
against
tush
Chiefs.
push. And I will raise this. The Chiefs stopped the Bills' version of the tush push. I'm not calling it a tush push because nobody really pushes him. And also, everybody knew on tape that he goes to the left every time. And so the
It's just a
Chiefs
tush
just
at that
got
point.
him to the left every time and stopped him every time. Like, it was just so automatic. I'm not saying the Chiefs are just, have found, cracked the code to stopping the tush push, but they stopped Josh Allen at it pretty well. Now, we've seen the Eagles run the fake, and every now and then it works. Sometimes it doesn't. We're going to see all, you empty the bag of tricks here in this game with the tush push if you've got them. That's definitely the way to go.
Are we ready for score prediction?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm also going to give Super Bowl MVP prediction and a little stat line.
Yeah,
Well
I was planning on asking, so.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to go 28-27 Philly. My Super Bowl MVP is going to be Saquon Barkley. He's going to rush for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That is an extremely similar stat line. Also, I like that stat line. Extremely similar to what Rashad White predicted Saquon's stat line will be.
Hey, you know how I feel about Rashad White.
Yeah.
It's just we're all
He
we're all
said
the
he
same
said
here.
I'm pretty sure he said 160 and 3 touchdowns.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I know, whatever. I'm gonna go Chiefs 27, Eagles 21.
All right.
Okay, at this point, storyline wise, the Chiefs going for the three-peat is a better storyline than anything that comes with the Eagles. That's where I'm at, and also I just do think the Chiefs will beat them. But storyline wise too, yeah, I get it. Nobody wants to deal with Taylor Swift and whatever that is. But I'll be honest, it's not been that bad. This playoff run, the Taylor Swift shit has not been that bad.
Yeah. Well, I think you keep bringing up storyline wise. Storyline wise, this matchup shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess there's storylines to both sides. The fact
Yeah.
that it's happening again versus the fact that it could have been Josh Allen versus Jaden Daniels, which would have been 61 to 45.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
In the Super Bowl.
Would have been so awesome.
Man.
Okay,
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, my
I'm
Super
excited
Bowl
for Kendrick.
MVP is going to Chris Jones.
Oh, I like it.
3 sacks for Chris Jones.
So we're thinking like a Von Miller game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Chris Jones is about to go fucking nuts.
I
And,
like that.
and that way, George Karlaftis and McDuffie and Pacheco will continue to have never lost a playoff game and start their careers off with 3 straight Super Bowls,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty awesome.
It's the
It's
most
pretty great.
ridiculous stat.
Yeah. Okay, I want to go through some of the fun props that people like to bet on for the Super Bowl and just get your takes on them. Coin toss, heads or
Okay.
tails?
Tails. Always tails.
Yep, tails never fails. I'm going with tails as well. Who wins the toss, though? Eagles are the home team. They get to call it.
Probably the Eagles then. Give them that advantage.
All right. Gatorade color on the winning coach. We getting purple is the odds-on favorite at plus 175. Then orange and yellow/green are plus 250. Red at plus 425. Blue at plus 450. Clear at plus 850. And no Gatorade bath at plus 1500.
Will both teams have the same color Gatorade?
I don't know. Nobody knows what the Gatorade color is. The only people, I'm pretty sure the only people allowed to know are like the hydration people. Because like this is a big deal that like people do actually bet on this.
I think it'll be red.
Okay. That's not bad. Not bad odds right there. Plus 425. That's if it's red, you're gonna make yourself a good dime if you bet on this. I'm gonna go with orange. Just because I think the big ups at Gatorade want it to be orange.
Yeah, could be.
I love this one every year. National anthem length is one of my favorites, and it's also being sung by somebody who has a fantastic rendition. John Batiste has a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Very much like a I believe he's from New Orleans or at least Louisiana. Kind of I believe soul would probably be the
He is from
genre you would
Louisiana.
say. But the over-under set at 120 and a half seconds. So about 2 minutes, just over under 2 minutes essentially. But I got some insight here on John Batiste doing the national anthem because he's done it a couple times. He did it for the 2017 All-Star Game in New Orleans for the NBA. But with that performance, he was playing the piano. And he went on like a 20-second piano solo type thing before it started, and that counted into that 1 minute and 20 seconds that he got on the dot. 1 minute, 20 seconds on the dot. Or sorry, not 1 minute, 20 seconds, 120 seconds on the dot in that while he was playing piano. Now, no instruments at the 2017 U.S. Open for tennis and was around like 100 seconds. So he wasn't playing any instruments. Somebody else was playing the instruments, and he was well under that 120. But nobody knows if he's going to be playing his own instruments or not, which certainly could be a big difference. He's a big soul artist. He plays piano all the time. If he's playing piano, obviously he can play guitar as well, but I doubt he would be playing guitar. If anything, he's playing piano during his national anthem performance. This could, it's tricky if you want to go off the trends, but if you want to go off the fact that, like, it's the Super Bowl, obviously, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to sing the national anthem at a Super Bowl. He's a soul singer, so you're going to expect, long, held-out notes, kind of a solo kind of thing. Maybe you do like the over. I don't know. It's up to the people.
So what's the line set at?
The line set 120 and a half seconds. So over under 2 minutes.
See, like, okay, one part of me is like, okay, it's the Super Bowl. Make it as grand as possible. Let him,
but you don't want to ruin
do
it.
his thing. But you don't want to ruin it, and you also, it's the Super Bowl, so you might be kind of like, all right, let's get it
rolling.
This thing going.
They're very much on a time crunch when it comes to pregame, postgame activities.
I'm going to take the under.
I am as well. I'm going to take the under as well. I love John Batiste. I think his album that dropped was in 2024 was his most recent. Beautiful stuff. Just an absolutely fantastic musician. What do we think is going to be Kendrick's opening song for the halftime show? I've got odds and stuff and a bunch of different songs, but what would you think it's going to be? Or what do you want it to be?
Um, I think it'll be something off of the new album to start with, probably.
Okay.
And then he'll go into classics because he's already done a Super Bowl halftime show before,
Yes.
and I think he did Good Kid, Mad City. I don't know if he did any other songs.
Wait, did he? Was it Good Kid, Mad City?
Was one of the songs he did. But my point being is I don't think he'll replay or reperform a song that he did at
That's a great
the
point.
last one.
Yeah.
So I think it'll start with something off GNX.
All right, I'm trying to find what song he did.
Bing bop boom bop boom bop bing is what I hope I hear. That's what I hope he opens with.
That would be hilarious. Okay, here's the set list. Kendrick did Mad City and All Right.
Yeah, so I don't think he'll be doing those again.
Okay.
Um,
So right now the odds-on favorite is Humble. -155.
oh yeah, Humble would be
Because
like the perfect song to
It's
start.
definitely his most mainstream popular song ever. For sure.
Is it?
I think so. I would assume. When it comes to mainstream popularity, it's not like it's.
I don't know, I had to.
I would
I guess I
say.
had to think about that.
And then the next in the odds is Not Like Us at +200. That can't be the opener. That's got to be the closer, I think.
Yeah.
I think that one just makes the most sense to me with how popular that song is, like the reception of it at the Grammys, like the whole room at the Grammys singing along. Like that's got to be the final song in the set list.
If were you gonna go over more songs?
I
'Cause
have
just came up
some
with
more.
my
You
answer.
you mentioned that a song maybe from the newest album could be there from GNX. Squabble Up
Yeah.
is on GNX, right? I'm not misremembering that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That is the next song that was in the odds at +300. Then you go back to +600 Swimming Pools, +700 Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. You got
God, there's so many.
yeah, no, this
so
list,
confident.
I'm not even gonna read the whole list. At least I'm not gonna read the odds for the whole list. I'll run through everything. But you've got Money Trees at +800, in 95 at +1200 as well. United
I
in
would
Grief
literally-
would be an insane thing to start off with.
Yeah. I would off myself in a video game if he played anything off of Big Morale and the Hot Steppers or whatever that album was called.
Yeah, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But
Mr.
yes.
Morale.
There was a couple good
if I was
songs,
Kendrick-
but I wouldn't go for any of those songs in this set.
I would go for Hey Now off the new album because it starts out with that dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun, and it just starts really slow, and I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be like the perfect build up.
And I'm
like an
I'm
intro
pretty sure we already have a guarantee that SZA will be a part of this performance. So she'll be there.
It doesn't get any better than that.
That is true. Going down the rest of the list, you got King Kunta is one of the ones for odds. All
That would be
right.
fun.
All right would be a great one to open up with. Except he already did that in that last Super Bowl. Whacked Out Murals from GNX.
Hell no.
No. Like that. Backseat Freestyle would be a crazy way to open it up.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That would be an
that might be my new favorite
insane
one.
opening. You have Mad City, which, like we said, I don't think will happen. Euphoria is a maybe to open up. I don't know if it open up, but we could see it.
Don't do any of the bullshit diss tracks. Just don't.
Fair. Element.
There's no.
I think is fun.
I would. Yeah, Element would be cool. I was thinking too, like imagine the crowd if like everything's dark and you hear the reverb, like the playback sample of Money Trees, like that song in reverse. Like that would make the crowd lose their mind.
Oh yeah.
To start off with, because like everybody knows that intro before he even starts rapping. They know what song's about to be played.
True. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that and I like this guy's opinions on this article I'm reading. Trying to remember this guy's name. Danny Heifetz from The Ringer wrote a whole article on this stuff, kind of giving his picks and why. His best three to choose from, he said, are Mad City, even though it already got done. because it's getting its own thing and it is one of his biggest songs. Backseat Freestyle and All Right are actually his 3 picks. So 2 of them that he's already done in a Super Bowl, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, backseat freestyle would be wild.
Yeah, I think Backseat Freestyle would be
Absolutely
crazy.
wild.
But I think you also have to remember, not that Kendrick gives a shit about mainstream opinions of his music,
Very true.
but
Yeah.
you're going to hit a lot of audiences that you wouldn't typically be hitting with your music. And the opening song is going to kind of determine whether these like 45-year-old women that are like in the living room with their husbands want to keep this on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
You have to
but
keep
no,
that part in mind.
the whole stadium's dark. Kendrick Lamar, the Pepsi halftime show, which is
Yeah.
Apple Music now, but I'm still
Yeah.
in classical mode.
Whatever.
And just ring king
Yeah,
king.
no, that would be fucking awesome. That'd be
lose
amazing.
Everybody.
But also, like, everybody's
Oh,
like
no.
50-year-old dad is turning the TV off for the halftime if that happens.
Yeah.
I think my pick.
I don't know.
I think. Damn. I'm gonna go with swimming pools.
I like it. I'm going backseat freestyle. Final answer.
Backseat Freestyle is the best option, for sure. Like, if I were watching it, that's what I would want to see to start it all off. That's for sure.
I'm not a dream.
It would be great. Final prop, and this is always an interesting one. This time around, it's for Tom Brady, who's calling the game. Tom Brady's tie color. What color do you think Tom Brady's tie will be? So you got the options are blue, gray/silver, no tie, red, black, green, pink, yellow.
Okay, so I guess blue, because that would be navy.
Yeah. Yep.
It's gonna be navy.
Yeah. So the guy that wrote this article, Danny Heifetz, said red and green are likely out because they're the teams or the colors of the 2 teams playing. Probably won't see pink, just because it just probably wouldn't go with whatever suit he's wearing, if I had to guess. And then this guy made a great point. Yellow would not look good with his spray tan.
Damn.
Yellow would clash way too much with Tom Brady's spray tan, which I definitely agree with. So really what you're looking at is either black suit, black tie, which you could definitely see, or I think blue. Blue's a great pick. I think I'm going to go with blue as well. I don't know what hue necessarily, but I think I'm going to go with blue.
Definitely navy blue.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, that's all my fun props. Anything else we need to cover for the Super Bowl?
I mean, it's just Chiefs and Eagles. I think I'm probably pretty good.
All right. Well, then that's it for the Super Bowl. Make sure you guys check out the live stream. 6:30 p.m. Sunday night. Me, Colin, Mike, and Nathan.
Yes, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, everybody
I think
check it
that's
out.
gonna be a good live stream.
All right. Well, let's pivot over to the MLB. Of course, there's always things just happening, I think is maybe the best way to put it for these couple of weeks leading up to spring training, is just that things are happening. Now, I don't feel like talking about every single, dog shit reliever that's getting paid $1 million a year that just got signed in the last week. But I'll bring up some ones that I want to talk about. So we'll start off with Jack Flaherty because this one happened first of the 2 big ones. Tigers bringing back Jack Flaherty, 2-year, $35 million. So not the long-term contract he was necessarily looking for, but if you're Jack Flaherty, you really can't complain. I mean, he was pretty good there last year, got traded away at the deadline to the Dodgers, won himself a World Series, and now he's going right back to the Tigers. I love this move for the Tigers because it can't just be Tarek Skubal. And like last year, think about how good of a start to the season the Tigers had. They were just like, unfortunately, in a position where they lost a few too many games right before the trade deadline and had to end up selling off some pieces, but they still ended up being a very good team. And I mean, adding back Jack Flaherty to the fold to hopefully be with you in the postseason is huge.
Yeah, maybe this is kind of a dumb take, but I like Jack Flaherty to the Tigers. If it was Jack Flaherty to the Orioles, I would think it's a dog shit move.
Agreed. Agreed.
So
It doesn't work for
I
what
think
the
that's kind of
Orioles need.
interesting.
Now, the Orioles do need all starting
Exactly.
pitching they could possibly get, but I think the move back to the Tigers makes the most sense for sure.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, and I don't think they overpaid necessarily either. 35 over 2 years. And I think that contract's front loaded as well. Next one, the Mets bringing back Pete Alonso, 2 years, $54 million. There is an opt out after year one. I know in year one he'll be getting $30 million guaranteed. Is it not time for this to be over? Like, is it not time for Pete Alonso to find something new to do? I don't think he
Like,
fits
something
what
other
they're
than
doing.
baseball?
Well, no. I mean, just like go pick another team. Like, it just doesn't. He doesn't seem like he hasn't transitioned with the Mets. The Mets have significantly made huge changes to the culture of this organization and the team that they trot out every day. And Pete Alonso just doesn't, from the outside perspective, doesn't really fit that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting take. Like, so you're saying everything around him has changed, and he's just kind of lingering.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's
there.
great to get 30 plus home runs from a guy every year, but like it just doesn't seem like. And I think this is why the Mets weren't that interested in bringing him back. I think they're ready to make changes. They've been making changes steadily over these, really, his whole career. They've been trying to make changes to this organization. They got bought. They've gone through GM after GM. They brought in Francisco Lindor, who's now the face of their franchise. Now they've brought in Juan Soto, who's really the face of their franchise because he has to be. You spent that much money. He has to be the face of your franchise. You have young guys that have been coming up. You traded for youth, across your farm system by utilizing these old guys that you signed in this weird attempt to try and win. And you completely flipped it on its head. And Pete Alonso's still standing there at first base after we're literally not even 2 years removed from him intentionally not catching pop-ups because he thought he was going to get traded. I mean, that's the craziest thing to me. How do you not move on from him after that? Then he stays. And then you just decide, okay, we'll let him linger for this year. And then you don't trade him at the deadline when you easily could have. You easily could have traded him to another team. Now, I know they were winning games. That is fine. But it just doesn't make sense that Pete Alonso is still around. And now they're bringing back on a pretty hefty contract.
Yeah, I mean, only 2 years, though, with, the option to opt out.
Yes.
But, giving him the option to opt out, he probably won't.
Unless he has a fucking unbelievable season and thinks that for some reason that in 2026 he will be worth more than the $24 million they're guaranteeing him.
Yeah.
Which I don't foresee
I don't
happening.
know. I think this is probably a good move for the Mets. I don't know about a good move for Pete Alonso, though. I think if he wants to go up, it would have been in his best interest to go to a different team to showcase his talent.
I mean, how old is he? 27, 28? He's in a position where he should be going out getting a long-term deal. 30. Sorry, he's 30. But still, I mean, there's 30-year-old guys across the league getting long-term deals right now.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, weird move.
Yeah. Last one, I just wanted to bring this up because you're a Yankees fan. The Yankees signed Tim Hill. 1 year, $2.85 million. I think you said earlier in the offseason that you wanted them to bring him back, so he's back.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember saying that.
I think we might have mentioned him quickly on an episode, and you were like, yeah, I wouldn't mind him coming back. That might have been.
Maybe that was like Tommy Kangley or Jonathan Loaizaga.
Could have been.
So,
I don't know. He was good after you guys picked him up at the deadline. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I feel like you can't go wrong with a veteran reliever who's just kind of established. In the league.
Yeah, he's been around. And it's not like he's never been great, but in that second half, he pitched 35 games for New York. This is the most WAR he's ever accumulated.
Yeah.
He had .9 WAR just in that 35 games with the Yankees.
Yeah, and just to kind of, put it all together, I don't necessarily think, just the move Tim Hill itself is a needle mover.
No.
And you probably know
No.
that better than I do. But when you put it all together, like, the Yankees are going to have Luke Weaver. We have Devin Williams, the airbender. Jonathan Loaisiga's coming back. And Tim Hill just kind of gets to be a part of that. So I think that's
put
something
together a
as
hell of
Yankees
a
fans we
bullpen.
should, we should be able to look forward to this. So it's a decent move.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Like I said, there's some other weird moves that happen, like small trades between like minor league players and stuff like that have rolled in. You had like the Cubs traded for Ryan Brazier, the relief pitcher, and the Astros signed Ben Gamel, who's like never been good a day in his life at baseball. So those things happened, but we also had some like interesting news things that happened with the MLB. One of them broke literally right before we started recording, but the other one is that umpire Pat Hoiberg has been fired for sharing betting accounts with a friend who bet on baseball. Though there's no evidence that Hoiberg himself bet on games or manipulated any games that he worked, but he also did delete messages that were central to the MLB's investigation on this. But what's crazy is Pat Hoiberg's been one of the most consistent guys behind the plate that you'll find. He had a perfect umpire game during a World Series a couple years ago. Like they showed the umpire score sheet from that game for Pat Hoiberg, literally a 100% accuracy. You just don't find that. And like I watched some people put together like clips and stuff of like how good he was in some games. This man called one of the best zones I've ever seen. Like it's crazy. And all of a sudden this happens and it's like, it's hard to believe that you're sharing a betting account with your friend when you're like, a 40-year-old guy, 40-plus guy. That just doesn't really check out. And deleting the messages is certainly incriminating. But also, I don't know if he was necessary. I'd like to believe he was not manipulating games. I think he might have just been betting. Maybe even, he can get fired for betting on games that he's not even involved in. So maybe, it was just like an off day and he was just betting on games. Which sucks that he can't do it and sucks that it's going to get him fired. But at the same time, it's not like you didn't know. You can't do that. Yeah,
at this point, these rules are pretty established.
Yeah.
People have gotten shit on for it.
Yeah.
Recently.
I'm kind of done giving leeway for the gambling stuff now.
Yeah.
Now, I think some of the leagues handle it incorrectly. I think the MLB's done a fine job covering it. And obviously, it's the first time we've seen it with an umpire so far. But, like, I can't have that much sympathy for these guys that fuck themselves over with the gambling stuff. Especially when if we're not on top of it, things get like the NBA, where that dude had to get a lifetime ban from the NBA. I can't remember his name, but the guy that was just straight up fixing. Like in hindsight's 2020, but we go back and we watch these videos of this guy just like chucking up horrible 3-pointers. It's like, no shit, he took the under on 3-pointers made on himself tonight. Like, what are we talking about? So it's just inexcusable behavior. It sucks for Pat Hoiberg because he's awesome. I'm sure they'll never bring him back. I'm sure he'll be banned for life from umpiring, MLB baseball. And he'll probably just be like calling fucking high school games soon. But
what if in the MLB investigation they find out he was a robo ump?
That would be awesome. They just find out he's just bionic.
Yeah. Betting on baseball.
That'd be awesome. The other one, more than proven guilty here. Ipe Mizuhara, the Shohei Ohtani's translator, which, crazy enough, this whole thing has come like full circle in like a year almost. We found out about all this stuff during spring training last year. And now Ipe Mizuhara is going to experience a lot more than just a year in prison. 57 months in prison, and will have to pay $17 million in restitution to Shohei Ohtani. Just what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw the video or the recording of him calling Shohei's bank and impersonating him.
I actually did not see that. No.
First of all, Shohei doesn't speak English.
Oh, no. It was in English?
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
And you know Japanese. Like
exactly. I'm sure
English?
Whatever bank that Shohei Ohtani banks with has some kind of Japanese translator or some kind of support that could help him if he needed to see his bank account. Now, look, it's not like Shohei is like, in line at the grocery store checking his bank account being like, oh shit, can I afford this today? But I mean, the guy probably wants to know where his money's at. He's not an idiot.
Yeah.
That was the whole weird thing about this whole thing is that Ipe Mizuhara had access to this shit. Like he was able to see these things and know how Shohei's money looked and all this kind of stuff. Like Shohei's not stupid. He is a normal human being just like the rest of us. And I know some pretty dumb people, and they are more than well aware of security for their bank and things of that nature. That's the whole part that never made sense to me is why, I get that it's tough if you just don't speak English to get things done in America, especially if you speak Japanese, because it's not necessarily a common language. But, I mean, surely there was somebody better than this guy to help you out. A translator that was just hired by the Angels to help you is crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. And Ipe deserves everything he's getting. I'll be honest. Stole millions of dollars from Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, big money.
Yeah. And speaking of gambling, that was the whole thing here. He was gambling.
Yeah.
Which is crazier. He's stealing Shohei's money and losing it.
For nothing.
It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. That's all I've got for baseball. But I'm sure we'll have some more moves roll in. I don't even know who's left free agent wise.
Bregman's still.
Yeah,
right?
Bregman is definitely still out there. Trying to think.
Dude, I don't even care where Alex Bregman goes anymore.
Me too. I think I'm tired of it.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with it. Let's see if we've got anything that could help me here. It's Bregman, and then you go down the list, and it's Kenley Jansen still out there.
Yeah, did you hear that the Yankees re-signed Tim Hill?
We just talked about that.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Since there's literally nothing going on.
No, there's nothing. Andrew Haney, Jose Quintana, David Robertson, Justin Turner's out there if anybody wants a lot of strikeouts from a 40-year-old.
I guess Anthony Rizzo.
Is JD Martinez still not signed? Nobody's been talking about that.
Yeah, JD Martinez.
That's crazy. Yohan Moncada's out there as well, in case anybody wants a 29-year-old who's as bad as Justin Turner.
That's a deep cut roast right there. That's that's a deep slice.
Yohan Moncada sucks. And I'm more than willing to say that. All right. Well, let's move on from baseball, though I am extremely excited for the season to begin. Sorry.
Wait.
What do you got?
Yasmani Grandal.
Yeah, he also sucks.
Yeah, Yan Gomes. It really looks like everybody's kind of. Yeah, I mean, you got Ty France. Patrick Wisdom actually went to the KBO.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Rizzo, Gallo, Yuli Gurriel.
These are all guys that'll find, they'll figure it out. Somebody will pick them up.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to realize that some
Oh,
prospect they thought was coming up isn't actually that good, and then they'll go pick these guys up.
you guys decided not to bring back Whit Merrifield. He's still a free agent.
Yeah, we don't need him. Ozzy's healthy.
Very
We got
true.
Profar.
Yeah, there's
So.
actually there's a couple. There's a couple.
Yeah, there's some guys that are going to find their way into a lineup probably. It might be in Oakland, or
Yeah.
sorry, not Oakland, Sacramento, or Tampa.
Mark Canna.
Yeah, Mark Canna's certainly going to find his way to a lineup somewhere. It's just, for the Angels. All right, let's move on to
I'll stop there.
the new Champions League draw, I guess. The knockout phase
No Premier
draw.
League.
Yeah, no Premier League this week. Forgot to say that at the top of the show, but no Premier League matches this weekend. It's all domestic cup play. Shout out Newcastle heading to the Carabao Cup final. I
Man, what
actually
a game.
did not see the outcome of Tottenham and Liverpool, so I'm about to find out who we're playing in that real quick. But yeah, shout out Newcastle for just ending the the hopes of anybody that is an Arsenal fan. Like, it was bad.
It was.
Arsenal fans are losing
terrible.
it right now. Oh, great. So Tottenham was up 1-0 on aggregate, and Liverpool smoked them 4-0. So
Oh,
looks like we're
wow.
playing Liverpool. That's the one team I wouldn't want to play.
Oh, you guys will have a lot of fun there.
Yeah. Well, hey, Carabao Cup runner-up. Not bad. Closer to a trophy than
Already
Arsenal will get
saying
this
it.
year. So
That's very true.
And then I would assume we have FA
Oh,
Cup
man.
matches this weekend, and that's why we're not playing any games. But let's see. Yeah, FA Cup matches this weekend. We got Birmingham. We're gonna kick some ass. You guys are playing Brighton, so
Birmingham.
enjoy that. This early in the FA Cup, that sucks.
Man, I'm not worried about Brighton.
All right, well, let's talk
At
about
all.
the Champions League knockout phase, because none of the teams we just talked about have anything to do with it, except Liverpool, which they also don't have anything to do with it because they got a bye to the round of 16. But let's just go through the matchups. First, Brest versus PSG. I think that's fun. It could be entertaining. Brest could certainly turn some things around, but PSG has been playing some phenomenal soccer since really the start of the new year. But this January transfer window certainly shaken a couple things up for them. Obviously, Kolomuani's gone on loan. Now Marco Asensio has gone on loan, which we'll talk about. He's off to Villa. And you brought in Kvaratskhelia. Javi Simons is out, right? He's to Red Bull Leipzig permanent. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about that the other day. Yeah, PSG's squad kind of changing a little bit. I think Milan Skriniar to Fenerbahce is done as well. So he's gone. Yeah, PSG a little bit different, but it does seem like since they've been making these moves, they continue to play better, which is huge because they start off this Champions League campaign not looking great.
Yeah, and they have a really interesting matchup as they're they're playing a team that plays in their domestic league in Ligue 1. Yeah, I'm excited for Brest versus PSG. I think the atmosphere in these two legs are going to be really phenomenal between these two French teams, and I'm sure it's going to reflect on the pitch as well while they're playing. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. Next matchup, Club Brugge and Atalanta. Nothing to say here. I think Atalanta seemingly just I don't know. This is an odd connection to make here. Something has bridged the gap for some reason between Atalanta and Atlanta United. This guy we just signed for Atlanta United, who was the record MLS fee, played at Atalanta for 7 years, but never played a single game for them because he was always on loan.
What?
And then he went somewhere for a year, and now Atlanta United bought him. His last name's Latte.
I
don't know.
didn't hear anything about that.
I got
Yeah,
an
I don't
ESPN
know.
notification, and that was the extent of my knowledge here.
And he's MLS record fee?
I believe so. Yeah.
What?
I guess we can quickly look this up. But then also in the summer window you had Miranchuk came from Atalanta to Atlanta United.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Here we
is
go.
true.
Emmanuel Latte Loth. He was playing at Middlesbrough for the last season or two. Yeah, MLS record transfer fee for a guy from fucking Middlesbrough, $22 million. So that tells you where the MLS is at. 22 million record transfer fee.
I'm sure it's also age related too. He is 26,
Yes.
which is pretty good for an MLS
Yes.
player to move over from Europe for the MLS team. Not good for him, obviously.
No, his career's over.
I guess it'd be cool to see him get introduced to like, Magic City and like
Lemon pepper.
Waffle House.
I guarantee nobody out there has had a lemon pepper wing.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like most Americans have had lemon pepper wings. We can get off of this track though. Yeah, Club Brugge versus Atalanta gives me like no interest. The fact that I was talking about the MLS over this matchup speaks volumes.
Yeah, exactly.
The next matchup, fun to talk about for sure. Manchester City versus Real Madrid.
You got two juggernauts, meeting very early,
yes.
Which I feel like creates kind of like this awkwardness. Like, okay, like we might even be scared to lose this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the winner of this is either going to play Atletico Madrid or Leverkusen.
Yeah, which is another big game for any of these two teams. So I personally like Real Madrid's chances. I know we're not really getting into that just yet, but yeah, this is going to be a really, really good game.
Yeah, City, interesting form at the moment is probably how I would phrase it. The next match, Juventus versus PSV, which I think could also get interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned before Juve kind of on a little bit of a downslope, but I think they're still trying to figure things out with their newer signings. Like Colomwani looks great. It just kind of needs to get a little bit more consistent. But PSV, on the other hand, if I'm not mistaken, they are flying in the Edelweiss right now, and they've looked okay in the Champions League. Yeah, in the Edelweiss, they're I guess only up by 2 points in front of Ajax with a game in hand, so maybe not necessarily flying, but it's pretty even there. But yeah, PSV could definitely make things look interesting versus Juve because I don't think we've been really watching the best Juve soccer.
Yeah,
recently.
No, that's definitely for sure. I think they're definitely, like you said, figuring things out, especially with the new transfers. And I think Thiago Motta definitely has the pressures on him right now. And this is kind of where we'll see, like, okay, is he going to stick around or is it really his problem here? You got Monaco Benfica, which once again I think is I think it's entertaining. Maybe not from like a names level, like, maybe you won't know a ton of the names playing in this match, but I mean, these are two teams that have been playing well above, probably their billing when it comes to the Champions League this season, and they found their way here.
And one thing I'll give to Benfica, to be honest, I'm not really well versed in Monaco as of late, but Benfica always, anytime you watch them, they're at 100%. It's like watching like Boca Juniors play. Like they are so fast and so passionate. They're always entertaining to watch.
So. Definitely, and I think I know Sporting has taken a downturn after the the departure of Amorim, but Sporting versus Dortmund could get interesting. Sporting kind of kicks things in gear. They're always a talented squad. Obviously, things really fell off a cliff in the Champions League and. In Portugal for them after Amorim left. I think they already fired the guy that they originally appointed. Like, it's been a bit of a mess. But Dortmund, obviously, a team that shouldn't have ended up here, honestly. I know they're really not in a bad spot, but, like, they were playing really good and just kind of like tripped and fell in, like, the middle of this Champions League run and then recovered themselves on the last match day, got themselves the win they needed, but just a team that I'm kind of surprised found themselves here. I thought they could have been a team that got a bye.
I completely agree with you. And I'm going to kind of use the analogy of the 2024-2025 Pittsburgh Steelers, where when you go into the playoffs losing 4 games in a row, no matter what your record is, it's always going to feel like you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like Dortmund here. And maybe Sporting can kind of jump on that, but kind of you and I can both agree on this. They have not looked anything like their old selves since Amorim has left. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Dortmund dominates both legs and just easily goes by.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and then, awaiting them is either Aston Villa or Lille. So that would be interesting as well.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, and then, I know, like, some of these knockout stage matchups don't look great on paper, But I assure you, this round of 16 is going to be fucking awesome.
Oh, I'm with you. 100%.
Like it
100%.
really is looking to be really good. Our final two matchups, Celtic and Bayern Munich, which look, Bayern Munich on paper, they're going to kick some ass, but Celtic could really be there. Like Celtic could really
That's
do
what I'm
something.
saying. I'm really excited for this game. And when you and I off camera reacted to the draw, I told you, I made the point that, yeah, Celtic may not be at the level of Bayern, but Celtic is right there with Bayern as far as how big the club is and what
Yes.
it means to their fan base. So
Yes.
I'm sure both legs, when Bayern travels to Celtic Stadium and then when Celtic travels to Munich, it's going to be just an insane atmosphere. Like both of these teams have such a huge support group that I think really no matter what we see on the pitch, it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really excited for these two legs.
And what I love even more is that they're on the other side of Manchester City and Real Madrid. So those two match up. The winners of these matchups are also either going to win, either going to play Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid. So we could potentially see Leverkusen versus Bayern and Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid out of these matchups, which would be insane. But obviously, we have to see how things play out. We have to, wait for these draws and whatnot. But we
Yeah.
really do have some
Just,
extremely entertaining potential in the round of 16. But I think there's really some good matchups to watch in the knockout phase. Like I would not be surprised if some teams surprise you and find their way there.
yeah, that's a good point. I just dude, I'm getting chills just thinking about Celtic Park in a knockout stage against Bayern.
Yeah.
Like that stadium is going to be ridiculous, man. I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah, and I know that this format has gotten it's bad press, I'll say. It definitely has. And the biggest reason being that they expanded this so that the rich teams always make it. And guess what? The 16 teams that are the richest teams that almost always make the round of 16, all 16 of the richest teams in the Champions League this season by club value made it. And then there's just some more. There's just some more teams. And I think that's better. I think that's more entertaining.
Yeah.
Look, if
It's a
they're
good
going to be there
balance.
every time anyways, why not bring in a couple of smaller teams that might just show up and maybe, upset some people?
I couldn't agree more, and it's way different than them expanding the college football playoffs. Because in college
Yes.
football, you can almost bank on certain teams to blow out other teams, but in soccer, especially these teams that aren't as good but probably have a shit ton better fans. Like when these teams go and travel to play in those stadiums, anything can happen. Legitimately.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
I agree with what you just said.
All right. Well, I don't think there's really anything else to hit on here necessarily for the Champions
Feyenoord
League.
Milan.
Um,
We got one
so
more game.
what?
We have Feyenoord Milan.
Oh,
We didn't
fuck.
talk
Yeah.
about that.
Sorry, I got way too distracted.
The last game.
But yeah, Feyenoord Milan, which once again could be interesting. Feyenoord, not a bad squad. They're kind of struggling domestically, but in the Champions League, they've been fine. But AC Milan's been flying.
Yeah.
They've been flying for
Oh
the
my
last
God.
couple of months, really.
Bro, their new signings, like Kyle Walker,
Yeah.
they had whoever assisted Yao Felix. Yao Felix's goal yesterday is also a new player. It's just, dude, their new players are just it's like they're not even missing a beat.
No.
And their team just got a hell of a lot better. So Milan, I think, are going to be looking way better than how they started the Champions League because these new players, Grayson, are just stupid good.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. And also their matchup, they line up with Juventus and PSV. So the winners of Juventus, PSV, and Feyenoord Milan play either Inter or Arsenal.
Oh my
Dude.
God, dude.
If we get,
Oh no.
we could get some fucking amazing matchups. We have like almost a guaranteed Italian matchup. If the two Italian teams win, obviously there's a guaranteed Italian matchup, but
Yeah.
it could be very fun.
remember,
Like I said, the round of 16 is setting up to be amazing.
You know the iconic soccer picture of Rui Costa and the guy who headbutted Zidane, I believe, who played for Inter Milan. Rui
Oh.
Costa played for AC Milan.
Oh God, who am I?
Is it like Maserati? Like
Yeah.
almost like Maserati?
Yeah,
but
it is.
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
But him and Rui Costa, obviously, one's Inter Milan, one is AC Milan. You have the red and black and the blue and black, and they're standing next to each other, and there's flares in front of them that they're watching. And that was a Champions League game, obviously at the San Siro because they share a stadium where Dida, Milan's Brazilian goalkeeper in the early 2000s, actually got hit by a flare from
Yeah.
Inter Milan fans. And that, like I said, that was in the Champions League. So, bro, if we get that derby in the Champions League, that is going to be insane because they're both so competitive now.
Yeah.
Unlike,
Oh, yeah.
like 5 or 6 years ago. So,
Yeah, well, it
insane.
was Materazzi, by the way.
Materazzi.
Yes, Marco Materazzi.
Materazzi.
All right. Are we ready to move on to the January transfer window?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will start off with the confirmation of a move that we talked about last week. Yohan Duran to Al Nassr. He's been watching him his whole life. Craziest fucking thing you could ever possibly say.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How does that quote happen? Where you say, I've been a fan of them, like, I was a fan of them growing up. No, you weren't.
No.
You just weren't. You didn't even know they existed until like 3 years ago. Like, what are we doing here? They paid $77 million for him. I just hate that, like, this guy had such a great story. And now he's going to Saudi Arabia at like 25. Just doesn't make sense.
I don't know, man.
21.
If
Sorry.
you put it on
21.
TV, I might stop bitching about it.
Well, and like, what's even crazier, this guy's going to be living in Bahrain.
Oh, yeah. He's the one that has the plane ride.
He's going to fly
practice every day, right?
500 kilometers to practice so that he can
Yeah.
live with his girlfriend because he can't live in Saudi Arabia with a woman that you're not married to.
God.
Like,
What a poor life choice, man.
That's
Like,
what I'm
Your
saying.
day-to-day life just got so much harder, and you're going to realize it a month in, just like Jordan Henderson did.
500 fucking
You hate this
kilometers
place.
to practice.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Bro.
You're going to be living in a fucking hotel. And your girlfriend, by the way, is just going to be sitting in Bahrain. It's crazy.
Whole lot of money, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's also fucking 21. In 4 years, he could come back to the Prem and have an entire career.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for, like, when Ronaldo's, like, 57, and we can interview him and ask him his opinions on living in Saudi Arabia and what that was like.
I would assume they probably, like, hit him with, like, NDAs.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
Especially those high-level guys.
Because we've had some of those European guys move over there and then speak out about how, like, maybe it was too big of like a culture shock to them,
Yeah.
or they just flat out didn't like it. But one guy that we haven't heard from on that topic is Ronaldo.
True.
He's the biggest one.
Well, I mean,
I'm
like,
just interested.
You remember, like, Jota, the kid from Celtic?
Yeah.
He, like, his only option was to retire. He had to retire to get out of his contract. Like, that's insane. That should not be happening. He was like 24. Crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think this Yohan Duran move sucks. For Villa too. I mean, like I said, his story was so good. You start at fucking Chicago Fire, end up in the Prem, you score these huge goals and these huge moments for Aston Villa. Now you're gone.
Yeah.
As soon as you get
Especially on top of that, you've been better than their normally good striker and Ollie Watkins too. So
yeah,
I don't get it.
But
I don't know.
I gotta give some credit to Villa because we're gonna touch on quite a few moves that they made in this window that are very good. But Nicolas Gonzalez, the other big money move, Porto to Man City, 60 mil. Man City made quite a few signings. Not gonna be like instant impact guys necessarily for Man City. A lot of young guys, as they kind of do in transfer windows now. They've got their dudes. They just have to get the extra guys to fill the cracks. But what's crazy is that they've signed so many young players that they can't even register all of them for the Champions League for the remainder of the season because you can only have 3 new players added to your Champions League roster midway through. because they
Oh,
haven't
wow.
sold off any to replace on the list. So they can only add 3 more.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Still
funny.
trying to figure out how Bernardo Silva's still there too. It's so weird to me.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how like half those guys are there. And then like I'm out here like seeing tweets about like Pep Guardiola wants to bring in Sergio Busquets. What?
Oh, what?
There's no chance, right?
So you want to get the guy, like the person who started the Rodri play style?
That's
It's
what I
smart.
think he's doing. No, that is exactly what he's doing because Sergio Busquets, as crazy as it sounds, was Pep Guardiola's Rodri when he won the treble. Like he was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it for people, but like that is a crazy move. He's like 40 years old and slow as shit. Like, he was slow back in the day. He can't move.
Oh man, those FIFA cards be like 27 pace.
Dude, he was bad.
But like an
Unusable.
87 overall CDM.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Unusable player. Now we just get into a shitload of loan moves. Because like everybody else that gets a permanent transfer in January is typically not a high profile player. Or at least, going to a team that they're really going to make a difference at. So got a ton of loan moves. First one, Marcus Rashford heading to Aston Villa from Manchester United. I'm excited to see what happens. I do think that obviously Rashford's skill, at least what it seems like, his performances have taken a huge downturn. It happened with Ten Hag at a certain point, and it happened once Amorim got there. And obviously he had a good game to start with Amorim, the first game that Amorim managed, but he's just not getting in the lineup. And I think the fact that Ten Hag gave up on him at a certain point, and then Amorim gave up on him, might be telling. Or maybe he just needs the change of scenery. I don't know which one yet, but we'll see.
I think he could have used the change of scenery like 4 years ago.
But then again, like within the last 3 years, this guy was like at the top of his game.
Yeah. I don't know. But I'm excited to see him in new threads finally.
Agreed.
I think it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Also, get a haircut, please. You're looking a little rough.
And
rough around the edges there, Marcus.
Yeah.
Next big loan move, João Felix to AC Milan. Chelsea just cleaning house and with the loan moves this January.
Yeah, and João Felix is a player that I can't hate, and something that made me like him even more. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but his play style, he's like obviously not as good, but he just plays like Kaká.
Mm-hmm.
He's an exact copy of Kaká, just a dribbler. Someone who likes to run at defenders, but also like a low key like good finisher.
Oh yeah,
as well.
He's a talented player.
Obviously, yeah, like I said, not as good as Kaká, but he definitely. They're kind of the same.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know why he ever left Atletico Madrid.
Well, they're such a defensive team.
Yeah,
they're not fun.
That's true.
For
but like
style.
Griezmann's found a way to figure things out there. And when he left, things didn't go well, and he went right back.
Yeah, but I don't know. João Felix is just a player I really like, and I hope he finds. I hope he finds somewhere to stay and be good.
We'll keep going down the list of Chelsea players. Axel Disasi to Villa is another big addition, which I know you don't care about, but I do think Villa could use the depth, and he provides that for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
You got Carney Chukwuemeka, Chelsea to Dortmund on loan, which I think is a good idea. Sending anybody to Dortmund and knowing they're coming back is probably a good idea.
Good point. Dude, it's just so fun to watch all these players in the Conference League and like the Carabao Cup because they all just played so well. I feel like there wasn't really anybody that played bad.
No. It's the funny thing is that the good players that play bad in these important matches, nothing happens to them.
Yeah. Very true.
And then this one's kind of crazy. Ben Chilwell on loan to Crystal Palace.
Oh.
Finally starting to let that ship sail, interestingly enough.
Yeah, it probably could have sold
a while ago.
Sailed a while ago.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Wrong verb.
We'll continue down the list of these loan moves. Marco Asensio, PSG to Villa. I love it. Absolutely love this move. for Villa.
It's going to be fun. I would say the one thing that I don't like is that Asensio has had a problem with being made out of glass. The Premier League is going to be a whole different ball game
Very true.
than La Liga and Liga. So we'll just have to see what he
Yeah,
looks like.
yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. But he was playing decent for PSG. But I
Yeah.
think they keep doing this thing where they make so many moves that like it's hard to keep guys in the rotation. Honestly.
Very true. Yeah.
And then you got Mateus Tell ends up actually taking the move to Tottenham from Bayern. So originally he turned down Tottenham and I think West Ham for loan moves, and then like a week later changes his mind and says, "Yeah, I'll take the Tottenham move." Young player just trying to get in the lineup somewhere, and obviously going to Tottenham, they need the help. If he's going to play well in the Premier League, I mean, he's going to get himself a lot of respect when he goes back to Bayern.
Yeah.
And you got, I love this move. Evan Ferguson on loan from Brighton to West Ham. Can't get in the lineup at all at Brighton. West Ham, we've talked about it all the time, how they've always needed a real striker. And Evan Ferguson, certainly the prototype of that. I mean, big physical striker rather than Mikel Antonio is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that Fulkrug though?
You would
Your
have
kinda
hoped. You
physical
wish that was
bruiser?
him, yeah.
Yeah, that needs to be studied. By the way, I don't see how you can come off of a season like that and just
No.
like barely make it into the team. Let alone when you're playing, it's like a different player.
Yeah.
Watching Fulkrug.
It's crazy.
So I don't know.
Actually crazy. You got Thiago Malacia finally getting healthy enough to leave Manchester United for some time, heading to PSV on loan.
Oh man.
I feel like every time we previewed a Manchester United match for like the last year, he was injured. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I think it was like 2 years, honestly. I don't know what happened to him. Last one, Mario Hermoso on loan from Roma to Leverkusen. Leverkusen having a great transfer window as well. Loan wise, just
Gosh.
bringing in guys to fill the gaps. And like we've talked about, I think we talked about it last week. Xabi Alonso loves to just rotate that lineup all over the place, and is
And bring in
very much like, look, if you're not playing well, you're not making it into the team this week. And I think that provides a great environment for hungry players to go out and just get shit done.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to almost cut
Oh,
you
you're
off
good.
there. I was gonna ask you the question of how does Xabi Alonso sell Leverkusen to Spanish people?
He's
Because
Spanish.
I feel like he's brought so
That's it.
many
It's
to
all
their
he has to
team.
do is say,
Yeah,
"Hola."
I'm Xabi Alonso.
Yeah. Yes.
Soy Xabi
Soy
Alonso.
Xavi Alonso. And then they're
They're
like,
like, all right, I'll see you.
"Yeah, cool. I speak English, by the way." And then they're
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man.
Leverkusen, I mean, he's not just bringing in Spanish players, by the way, for anybody out there wondering.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Plenty of talent, German talent for sure, of course. But you have like Frimpong, Dutch, and a number of other players around them. Last thing I want to touch on, Marcelo has retired from professional soccer.
Oh wow.
It's the end of an era, man. It's so crazy
Man.
to even think about the fact that like pretty well done with that, like the Real Madrid and Barcelona fullbacks that we had for that long period of time.
Yeah, they man, that was like probably the most underratedly solid parts of both of those teams.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, I mean, like I know, Danny Carvajal is still kicking, but I mean, Carvajal and Marcelo and then Alves and Alba, like that's iconic. Both ends of that
Yeah.
are iconic
Truly
to the
iconic.
sport, really.
Yeah. And just so unfair when like the Spanish national team gets together that then you just blend the defenses of Real Madrid and Barcelona and try to play against it.
Yeah. It's
It's
unbelievable.
unfair.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep getting worse. I mean, we've talked about this multiple times. Pau Kubarsi is going to be locking shit down for the next like 20 fucking years back there.
Yeah.
And Dean Housen is soon to join him. Like, it's unbelievable. Unreal.
Dude, it's a match made in heaven. They will
It
be on the
is.
same team.
Oh yeah.
And I guess my final thoughts on this January transfer window is I guess it should have been renamed to the last 2 weeks in January transfer window because for a while there I was like, okay, so nobody in the entire world wants to make a change to
Half of
their
these
team.
fucking moves happened in February.
Exactly.
I mean, I just saw reports the Turkish transfer window doesn't close till the 11th.
Oh, lucky them.
Like they're still trying to just
They're about
like
to bring in
pick off some guys.
yeah, Galatasaray is about to bring in Morata.
Yeah.
To join Osimhen
Yeah.
for like the last half of the season. That's going to be fun.
It's very funny to see like the Turkish team's trying to just like poach at the very last second. It's very funny. Because like all the other transfer windows are closed at this point. But it's interesting. Okay, that wraps up the January transfer window there. And like I said, maybe there's some Turkish moves we have to talk about next week, but that should get us good through the rest of this transfer window that's somehow still open. Yeah. Look, I'm seeing the same thing.
You know what time it is?
This watch right here says the exact same thing as yours. It's questions time. It's questions time. Oh. And it's like, it's amazing. It's so nice to get to this point every time. Oh, yeah. It almost feels like the episode is over. We stop talking, the soccer conversation winds down with whatever we're talking about, and we're just kind of at a bit of a stalemate, and then all of a sudden, time's ticking. Time is ticking. Yeah. And we see it. We see it. And it's like the school bell rings, except we're here for another like 20, 30 minutes.
Oh my God, the nostalgia.
Yeah, dude. It was like running out of school at the end of the day. All right. Well, Nathan titled this The Big Game Questions. Obviously referring to the Super Bowl. And I think all of these questions are Super Bowl related. So I'm excited to go through all these with you. And we start with what will be the flag differential in the big game? What an interesting question. The flag differential, meaning who's going to get penalized the most?
Oh, probably the Eagles.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
I can see some PIs that end up racking up a lot of yards.
Yeah,
and penalties.
I'm going to go with the Eagles. 2 more flags than the Chiefs. Won't be a lot of flags, I don't think. I think there's 2 pretty disciplined teams.
I'm going to go 3 more. I agree with you, but I think it'll be a little bit more.
You think this game, this is kind of an interesting way that Nathan phrased this. Do you think this game will be a better or worse game to watch? Obviously, there's no comparison here. So do you think it's going to be a good or a bad game to watch? I think it's good.
I think a good game.
Yeah. I said at the start of our preview, is like, this is a good matchup. Like, these 2 teams match up really well.
Yeah, like I can bitch about, the fact that it's the Chiefs and the Eagles all that I want to, but one thing that I'm not going to lie to myself about is that it's not going to, it's not like it's not going to be a good game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
Do you think it's going to be more of a ground and pound game or an aerial attack? Oh, I think, with Saquon Barkley, it's obviously going to be ground and pound, but I think for the Chiefs, the question is certainly out there because they haven't necessarily been like great in the passing game, but their running game has been awful.
Good point. I think the Chiefs will probably try to run a more balanced offense, and the Eagles, obviously, like you said, are going to be grounded.
Yeah, but like we've talked about, if the Eagles don't get out to an early lead, if the Chiefs show up and have a good start to the game, we're going to force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball, I guess. At least at some point, a good point. They'll reach that point.
And I'm sure that's exactly what the Chiefs are going to try to do, because if you get ahead early, you're taking Saquon out of the game early as well.
Yeah.
So
it's huge.
Yeah. Dangerous spot.
Yeah. What artist or artists are you hoping for or expecting to come out during the halftime show? So SZA, I believe, is confirmed. So we're going to see SZA.
Tyler, the Creator, is already a no.
Okay.
I know that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Who has been like a staple in Kendrick Lamar's career, like with him?
So I could see Future, because of the Metro Boomin song from earlier this year, or I guess last year, 2024. Yeah. Obviously, Future played a big part in that. I'm trying to think. Some people have said that we could see some of the tracks from the Black Panther album. So maybe you look at a collaborator from that.
J
Um,
Rock.
maybe J Rock. J Rock would be sick. I think there'd be a lot of people that
Yeah,
like don't even know who he is. Because he just hasn't necessarily been all that relevant since that song, probably. Um,
yeah,
but I think that would be a fun one to see. I think the problem with Kendrick Lamar, it's not a problem. He's not really reliant on collaboration. Like he's
yeah.
not,
Ever
yeah,
really?
like he's never been a guy that needed features. But he's always had some. You know, he's always gonna have a few in there. But it's like, look, we're not gonna get like, Travis Scott's not gonna show up. We're not gonna get a Travis Scott track.
Yeah,
Um,
it honestly could just be like I would. I think there's a high chance to see one of the LA rappers that was kind of lesser known, like
yeah,
maybe one
one
of
of
the
the
ones
guys
that
from
ended
G,
up on
yeah, yeah, yeah,
DNX.
yeah. I like that take.
So yeah,
Definitely see that. But yeah. Otherwise, like I don't know if there's anybody other than SZA that I think will show. I don't think
Ice
it's
Cube.
that'd be
What if
cool.
we get Ice Cube?
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the ordinary for um uh the halftime act to bring out a guest to perform a song that one of the two did not make or is not a part of and just do it themselves.
Yeah,
It's not out of the
super true.
ordinary. So that could also happen. Let's see, what's the next one? Of the last decade, what was the most entertaining big game to watch? Look, we all know what the actual fucking answer is here. I just don't want to say it.
Uh,
I mean, you can't beat that. When you're looking just for a football game, you can't beat it, unfortunately.
man, I gotta look up my Super Bowl history right now because it kind of slipping me like what has happened in recent history. Ooh, I would probably have to say 2018 when the Eagles beat the Patriots was probably my favorite Super Bowl
That's
of
a fair
recent
one.
years.
Yep.
Yeah, the Falcons, they're kind of the comeback that they let happen. That was not a fun Super Bowl for even me. I did obviously hated that one. The Rams and Bengals was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Those would probably be my two.
Yeah. I know like it wasn't a good offensive game at all, but I liked Super Bowl 50. Denver versus Carolina was a matchup that I thought was interesting. Obviously didn't pan out maybe. But like Von Miller's dominance in that game was
See,
awesome.
yeah, I love that take that you just had because defensive games can be boring if it's punting, but that one was a very active, like
Yeah.
the ball's like going everywhere kind of defensive game. So
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
And also, Rams Bengals was sick. Game was
Yeah,
like it rocked. I
like
loved that Super
what the
Bowl.
last time we saw Cooper Cup like play good, maybe.
Uh
I'm kidding. I think he
no.
was pretty
No,
pretty
I
good
think the
after
following
that.
year
But
is when he had the crazy season, right?
no, the Super Bowl year was his crazy year.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
he was the Triple Crown, right?
I couldn't remember if that was the 22-23 season or the 21-22 season.
Yeah, I think the 21-22 season was his crazy year
Okay.
where they won the Super Bowl, and
Gotcha.
then I
Gotcha.
want to say the year after is the year he was hurt like the whole time.
That sounds right.
I think.
I think there's been a lot more good Super Bowls than bad in the last decade.
Yeah,
And
I
like we have
agree.
some of the most historic ones. I mean, 28-3, the Philly special. Obviously this Kansas City run is huge. You have Tom Brady's final Super Bowl in that mix. His final 3 Super Bowls in that mix. Well, I guess the last 10 years, and you can throw in his last 4, whatever. But like, I mean, there's a lot to remember here. Rams, Bengals was a big deal. In a good game. Kansas City, San Francisco, despite the injury issues that San Francisco ran into, that was it was a game. I'm not gonna say it was good. It wasn't bad, but it was a game. It was fun to watch. So yeah, I think we've really lucked out. I think this last decade. We didn't have like a what was that fucking Bears Super Bowl? We didn't get
The
that.
Colts,
Or no, sorry.
Colts and Bears.
Well, that one kind of sucked too. No, it was Seattle Denver. That was the
Yeah,
bad one, 43-8. We haven't had any of that, luckily. Yeah, I think we've had a pretty good run of Super Bowls here.
Oh wow! Looking at the Super Bowl list, I never I didn't remember that the 43-8 Seattle Super Bowl victory was before the Patriots and Malcolm Butler. I didn't realize that they went back to back.
Yeah.
I thought there was one in between. Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
All right. Next question. What brand's going to have the most memorable commercial? I think the commercials have gotten bad. I think we talked about this last year on our episode after the Super Bowl. But, like, I
Yeah.
think the commercials have taken a huge downturn. Everybody's more worried about, like, what can I put on screen to make people go on their phone? Everybody's just putting up
Yeah.
fucking QR codes. Fuck off. No.
Yeah.
That's not
I think
it's not what this is about. You're paying
I'm gonna
millions.
give it. I'm gonna give it to a beer company.
Budweiser pulling at the
I don't know which
heartstrings
one.
every year.
Oh my
I'm
god, those
sure
damn
Bud
Clydesdales.
Light's got something
Bring a tear
great
to my
cooking
eye.
with Shane
Yeah.
Gillis. I'm sure.
Yeah, or we could have Messi speak more English in a Michelob Ultra commercial. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
that's a good point. Maybe we get a couple more
Yeah.
words out of Messi. Maybe 3 this time.
And Marino throws Messi a touchdown pass.
What? And I believe Jason Sudeikis was there too.
Yeah.
um,
Oh man.
I'm
Or it'd be cool. What if Corona got all of the people that do Corona commercials? So like Bad Bunny, Pedro
yeah,
Pascal, Snoop
I
Dogg.
like
Like,
that.
what if they all were in a commercial together? That'd be
I
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
That's good. What
I don't know.
about? Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna guess this one every single year till it happens. I need the return of Puppy Monkey Baby.
Oh my.
One of my
Fuck
favorites. One
off.
of my all time favorites. Let's
What
see
about the
what.
E Trade babies?
Yeah, that's another
Those are
great
good.
commercial. Trying to think. Like I said, like the commercial have taken such a downturn. Like who won last year? I don't remember a standout.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think like who could really pull some shit off here. I know the NFL and like flag football has a commercial with Pat McAfee in it that's supposed to be funny.
Okay.
So that's coming.
Yeah.
I know that. I doubt that'll be the most memorable because it's about like the NFL's, initiatives with flag football. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with either Budweiser or Bud Light. I think either Budweiser's gonna pull at the heartstrings really well, or Bud Light is gonna have a hilarious commercial with Shane Gillis involved.
Do we think there's going to be another Yeezy commercial or no?
I doubt it.
There was one last year.
I know. Yeah, I'm so tired of the boring ass commercials.
Yeah, his was nothing.
It was
His
just a
was
fucking
not
website.
anything.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
He made,
nothing will be
I heard
worse
he
than
made a
QR
lot
codes.
of damn money.
If you fucking put
Yeah, that
QR
is true.
codes on the screen, fuck you and your company.
It's the way to get to people these days,
A
man.
30-second silent fucking commercial with a QR code sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what are you doing paying
Terrible.
like $10 million for that 30 seconds? It's unbelievable.
Oh man.
That's the sport management guy in me. Talking. We can't be doing
Yeah.
this shit. Can't.
Um,
I hate that Super Bowl commercials have just been like, let's make more excuses for people to be on their phone.
I feel like it used to be like a competition.
Yeah.
Like genuinely.
It was a big deal if you had the Super Bowl commercial that year.
Yeah. It's like not only are we going to blend something that's funny and memorable, but we're also going to try to do our best to throw in like A-list actors in there as well. It's like
Yeah.
the perfect mix.
It was
of
a big deal
entertainment.
to be in a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And now it's just like,
Definitely.
it's played out. And I mean, like, what are we doing running fucking teasers for like a month leading up? Why do I know that there's going to be a Reese's Lava Cup fucking commercial? Why do I know that?
Yeah.
Like, come on. All right. Big game bonus challenge from Nathan. here. Predict one
Okay.
skill position player's exact stat line. Well, you already did Saquon, 167, 3
Yeah.
touchdowns, but let's get a different one.
Oh, wow. I'll go Travis Kelsey here. 6 receptions, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns.
All right, I'm gonna go AJ Brown, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Start reading that book, buddy. Maybe read a book on why AJ Brown left Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh no, dude. And why he's gonna leave Philadelphia.
Yeah.
After they lose the Super Bowl.
Yeah, start looking up. You better just pull out your phone, go on Zillow.
Yep.
Start looking at places in Buffalo, buddy. They could use you.
Yeah, buy a winter jacket.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll have a fun one though. I'll do a fun one. Let's go. I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley this time. I'm gonna go Saquon Barkley, 138, 2 touchdowns.
All right.
All right. I think that wraps things up here. So look, Luke, the next time you're on this podcast, the NFL season will be over. 2024, 2025 NFL season will have concluded the next time we have one of these podcast episodes.
It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah.
As always, I love talking about the NFL. Went through a lot of heartbreak together, went through a lot of ups together as well.
Of course.
But I can't wait. One of my favorite things is when we give the division grades and we go by team. So I'm really excited to get into that as well. And it'll kind of help refresh and jog the memory back of, having forgotten about everything that happened this season.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, we're going on a 2-week break after next Friday's episode from the podcast. We'll have 2 videos that come out during that time. But, I think, this was a fantastic NFL season. I maybe one of my favorite years of the NFL ever. It was genuinely fun to follow, and I think it's just going to continue to get better. But yeah, very glad that we got to cover this here with everybody. Yeah, thanks for everybody that's listened. Thanks obviously for Luke hanging out with me every week, previewing these games. Shit, we've done it.
Yeah, definitely.
We did 17 weeks of the regular season. We did every week of the postseason now. So we're over 20 weeks of previewing NFL games this season. So
yeah,
that's big for us. I mean, that's about half the year almost.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
exactly right.
Obviously tune in to the Super Bowl live stream, 6:30 p.m. right here on YouTube on Sunday night. And of course, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube and turn on post notifications. Make sure you like. Make sure you leave a comment on your Super Bowl predictions. And, of course, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Stay up to date with everything we got going on there. And join the Second Short subreddit so you can contribute to Questions Time, r/2ND Short. And, of course, the podcast listeners, make sure that you are following on the podcast platforms and rating 5 stars. Luke, anything for the people before we get out of here?
Comment your Super Bowl prediction score and also comment your Super Bowl MVP and stat line.
Love it. All right, everybody, be safe with the Super Bowl. Don't be like a Georgia football player and
get behind the wheel.
Yeah. Don't get behind the wheel if you've been drinking this weekend. I'll say that for every day going forward, but definitely the Super Bowl. All right, guys, be safe, and we'll see you on the live stream. Luke, we'll see you next week. Catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.